This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code STATEOFSAINTS, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints, but we're really going to be talking about the NFL. We're going to be talking about the NFL's $1 billion lawsuit settlement. That's right. Former black players of the National Football League sued the NFL for $1 billion. We're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be talking about a key New Orleans Saints player that was left off the NFL top 100s list. And I can't believe that we're about to have that conversation a little bit later. But let's go ahead and start and talk a little bit about the NFL. Like I just mentioned, the NFL just reached a $1 billion lawsuit settlement with former black players of the National Football League. This comes after there were some very, very, very foul play that took place. Apparently, the National Football League, when doctors were evaluating former players for things like concussions and other lingering injuries, especially concussions, they were using things like age. They were using things like weight and height, and also using things like race. That's right. Race. They were allowing race to determine if a guy is eligible to get a settlement. And apparently, how they were using race was they were doing it based on what they felt was an African American's cognitive skills or where it was supposed to be. Apparently, they were, having African American athletes who apparently are not on the same level as some of the white athletes that deal with concussions. So they were evaluating them based on their cognitive skills. And the cognitive skills were saying that African-American players were not on the same level mentally. That means they weren't as smart as the white players that were evaluated. And of course, the NFL is throwing a brick and hiding their hands. Of course, we want to know, there were some settlements that came out throughout this time frame, but the NFL fails to actually show the list of individuals that actually got some settlements. And apparently the reason, in my opinion, they don't want to say that and they don't want to show it is because we all know that the NFL consists of 70% of African-American players. And if you don't see the majority of those players on that list being African-Americans, all of a sudden you might have yourself a little bit of a problem. But apparently the NFL has reached an agreement because, of course, you had medical personnel saying that it was unfair to believe that an NFL player that was African-American is not smart or, don't have a certain level of cognitive skills on the same levels as white players. So they completely threw that out. And, of course, the NFL had to settle for $1 billion. This was an absolute disgrace. I know some people are probably saying to themselves, what did this have to do with the State of the Saints podcast? But I tell y'all all the time, I'm a Saints fan, straight up, but I'm a black man, okay? I mean, it might be a shock to some of y'all out there, but I'm a black guy, you know what I'm saying? And I love, I love Saints football. I love the NFL, but at the same time, when stuff like this is going down, we're going to talk about it. And I feel like that's an absolute disgrace. You have African-American players that dominate the league as far as, I'm talking about as far as how many they actually have in the league. And the fact that they feel like black people or black players are inferior to white players is an absolute disgrace. And that goes to show you right there that the NFL has some issues that they need to deal with. There are some things that they have to clean up. And, I'm tired of people just acting like these things don't exist. I'm just being dead serious. Like people like, I don't want to hear about this. Why don't you want to hear about it? Do you not want to hear about it because it makes you feel uncomfortable? Well, imagine how that makes a person like me feel that had to hear this. How do you think that makes me feel? You think I want to sit up here and talk to you all about this? Do you think that I want to sit up here and understand that, the people that's looking at me come from all different walks of life? But we have to have these type of conversations because here we are again dealing with the same BS. And it's sad. You have players, from all different walks of life, but African Americans, they have a lot of those in the NFL. And these guys put their bodies on the line. They put, their futures on the line to go out there. Yes, they get paid a lot of money, but it is entertaining. And the fact that how the NFL just chews these players up and spit them out is a damn shame. And if you don't feel that way and you just feel like this is just, oh, man, I'm tired of hearing about this type of stuff. I'm tired of hearing about race, this, that, and the third. Well, I feel like, you're a little bit a part of the problem. Because this is the reason why these problems like this get swept under the rug, because we are too afraid to have these type of conversations. We're too afraid to bring these things to the forefront. And as long as we continue to throw the brick and hide our hands, or we just feel like we ain't got no dog in the fight, so to speak, we're going to continue to have these type of conversations. We have to, from all different walks of life, be able to have these type of conversations, because there's nowhere in the world that this type of practice should take place. There's nowhere in the world that anybody in 2021 should feel like there aren't African-American players that are down here and up here, and they're not smarter than this particular group. Like, knock it off. Knock it off. The NFL got what they deserved, a kick in the rear end, $1 billion. And if you look at how many players that have played over the course of time in 102 years of the National Football League and how many people actually got a settlement, I mean, that ought to tell you everything you need to know right there. I think I want to say about 8,000 or something like that actually filed. Only about 1,300 to 1,400 players actually got it. Like, what the hell is that? Are you kidding me? The NFL continues to throw the brick and hide their hand. They continue to do these practices. They continue to put these doctors who are in their back pocket on the field, telling these players, oh, you're good enough to work, or you're good enough to run out there. You're good enough to go out there and play. I mean, come on. If we talking about the Saints, look at Delvin Breaux. Look at Delvin Breaux, man. Those doctors had Delvin Breaux looking like a straight sucker. Had this man looking like he was soft. Man said he couldn't even run on his doggone leg. But the doctor up there trying to clear him. Oh, he just don't want to play. Oh, he just don't want to play. Turns out his leg broke. The NFL needs to get their stuff together, or they're going to continue to have these type of issues. They're going to continue to have these type of problems. I don't feel bad for the National Football League. Am I a fan of the NFL? Of course. That's why I have this podcast. That's why I root for the Saints. But when we're evaluating guys who are hurt, when we're evaluating guys who have concussions, look, these guys put everything they have on the line for your organizations. And as long as the NFL keep on chewing people up and spitting them out, they're going to continue to have these lawsuits, man. But I'm happy these guys got their settlement. Hopefully these guys can actually, maybe get some insurance, pay for them to be able to take care of themselves for the rest of their lives, be able to get themselves, the proper medication that they need. You still have older players who didn't make as much money as some of these modern day players that are struggling right now, who are crawling around here, who can't get adequate insurance. But this is a multi-billion-dollar organization that is the National Football League. Something has to give, folks. Something has to give. Now I'm talking about just NFL players as a whole. Something has to give. It has to go beyond us just cheering for these individuals. And I know, like when we're in the heat of the moment and we're watching these guys and they get hurt and we say stuff like, oh man, they always hurt. Like they don't never play. I get it. But at the same time, you want these guys to be taken care of, man. There's no reason why the NFL should make all this money and you still have players out here that are walking around here, don't know where the hell they at. Have to take notes in order for them to remember what they did 2 hours ago because they can't they can't go out here and get the proper care that they need in order to take care of themselves. And these guys shouldn't have to go out here hunting down the NFL for them to get anything. So they got what they deserve, in my opinion, But let me go ahead and go to the comments. I appreciate everybody for being here. Sorry we have to start on such a somber note, and I understand how this makes people feel. But it is what it is, man. It needs to change. The practices need to change, and determining if people get proper care based on race, that's absolutely disgusting. That is disgusting, folks. DLP 2600 says Saints bring left off list doesn't surprise me. That becomes standard, unfortunately. That's true. That's definitely true. But we'll talk about that individual a little bit later. Trevi says, what up, TJ Brutt? What's going on? Jerry says, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I did a show earlier today. The Lawnmower 4.0. Thank you very much for the $2. Says, I'll be the reason your woman is happy. Yeah, thank you very much. You're definitely right, man. And of course, we know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, and they're promoting the Lawnmower 4.0 for the month of June. So need to purchase yourself one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Marshall Nelson, Malcolm Howard. What up, TJ? Hey, what's going on, Ricky? Appreciate you being here. Jeremiah says, amen. I never heard anything about this lawsuit. Damn. It's funny how I found this out, DLP 2600. DLP, I actually found this out because I just finished eating dinner. Me, my wife, and Paxton. We went to a Mexican restaurant. And of course, they had like the televisions everywhere and stuff like that. I had a television that was facing, the bar, and it had ESPN Deportes on. And my wife, she had the TV, it was facing ESPN, and she was like, wow, the NFL got sued for $1 billion. And I'm like, what happened? And of course, I had to read up on it and stuff like that because the TV was muted. But it's just sad that this situation had to occur, man. And doesn't surprise me that it just automatically just boom, popped in your face. Nobody was really saying anything about it because we know how the NFL works. They like to protect their interests. Okay. They don't want people to look at the NFL in a negative light. All right. So it didn't surprise me, man, but it's sad. It's just sad that we even have to have this type of conversation in 2021. Mario says the lawsuit should have ate the NFL up. Yeah, I mean, $1 billion. I mean, to us, that sounds like a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? That's a sick amount of money, but to the NFL, compared to like how much money they got, that's a drop in the bucket. And also, they haven't even really got into that TV deal that they got. This must be a leftover policy from the 1950s or something. Josh, no, not necessarily. What happened was there are some medical researchers out there, right, who feel like in order for a doctor to come up with a better prognosis for an individual, they do certain things. Like when they evaluate them on, and like just like anything, right? Let's just say, for example, like, like when people say, okay, how tall are you? Okay, I'm about 5'10", 5'11". Well, you're supposed to be this, you know what I'm saying? If you're this height, you're this weight. If you're this nationality or this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be this size or whatever. It's kind of like the same thing. So they took that type of practice and they applied it to, the NFL when they're evaluating people for concussions, like former players. So what they were doing was they were, evaluating how can, like, first off, okay, I'll use Josh for example. Josh is white, I'm black, right? If we both have concussions, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he don't remember and I don't remember. Okay, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? You got a black and a white guy that don't remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that, you know what I'm saying, it should be any different. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like, oh, well, you came from New Orleans, you were born and raised in the Ninth Ward, they had substandard educational systems, and you know what I'm saying, you supposed to read at this level, and everybody around you read at this level, and so I need to base, you know what I'm saying, your test on this. Think about that, right? Okay, think about this, folks. Think about somebody evaluating where you're from, what school you went to, the people around you that went to that school. Think about people evaluating you based on that. You know, like, if that's the case, then everybody in the world should basically be scared of everybody from the Ninth Ward, right? They should be basically, you know what I'm saying, because that's what they tell you. They tell you that New Orleans, around the Ninth Ward, 8th Ward area, is full of crime, you know what I'm saying, poverty-stricken individuals, low educational system. I shouldn't be here, right? If we were based in life on how they were based in that test, I wouldn't be here right now. You probably wouldn't be in the position you are in right now. Think about that. And for all, you know what I'm saying, I'm not even looking at it from just a black standpoint, because some of the white listeners of this show and other cultures that listen to this show, you understand what I'm saying too. Think about that. Think about somebody evaluating you based on your circumstance. Everybody wasn't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Everybody didn't go to the top high schools. Everybody, mama and dad couldn't pay for them to go to private school. So just imagine if somebody if you were sick or you were hurt or you needed some type of medication, and they'd saying, well, I would give you this medication, but according to your scores, because you went to this school, because you grew up in this area, we can't give it to you. Now, if you actually went to St. Mary's or Archbishop, you know what I'm saying, Archbishop Newman, or you went to Rummel, then all of a sudden, like, I would have gave it to you. But because you went to Carver High School, because you went to Douglas, because you went to John Mack, because you went to 35 Warren Eastern, I can't give it to you. Imagine how that would make you feel. That doesn't make sense at all. That's why I'm just trying to make sure everybody, like, I don't want this to be, you know what I'm saying, a black, you know what I'm saying, a black-white thing. But just imagine how that would make you feel if somebody did that to you. Oh, I would offer you the job. Yeah, I understand you went to Michigan. I understand that you graduated, you got yourself a degree, but you know what I'm saying? I got to look at the fact of where you came from. Come on, man. Knock it off. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is so dumb, and they should. They got what they deserve, man. I'm sorry, folks. You know, it's just absolutely dumb. I'm getting Jim Crow vibes. Yeah, that was stupid. Like, why would they? Why? Like, okay, I understand why they did it. Okay, I mean, come on, let's be honest about this. We know why they did it, because they didn't want to pay them. They didn't want to pay them. We know that, but it don't make it right. Don't make it right, man. I love learning. The more I know, the better I become and grow as a human. Yeah, Rudy, that's the truth, man. And like I said, man, I'm not trying to make this a black and white thing. I want people to understand from a certain standpoint. I want everybody from every walk of life to understand. And just imagine, just close your eyes and imagine some of the hardships that some of you have been through. Some of you probably didn't have to go through those hardships. Some of you, God bless you, you know what I'm saying, your parents were able to put you in better situations, and I applaud you for that, because that's what we all aspire to do. We all want our children to have a better life than we had, period. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying, for those that probably didn't grow up in those circumstances, and for those that did, imagine somebody evaluating you and depriving you of something because of based on what you did or where you came from. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you're not smart enough. You know, like that's basically what they're saying. Like, based on this, you're not like, oh, come on, man. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. We talk about everything else. This is a long-ended conversation. Yeah, absolutely. It is, but I know this is off topic, but this reminds me of how back in the day they were unaware of how concussions are dangerous to players and can kill people. Rudy, here's the reality of it. Nobody wants to hear that, right? Nobody wants to hear this. It's no different between people not wanting to sit down and discuss certain things about race. You know what I'm saying? Talk about our uncomfortabilities towards each other. It's the same thing. Nobody wants to hear that noise. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to be the Debbie Downer in the situation. I mean, it's just the truth. The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that, regardless to what they do, people are still going to watch their product. They don't want negative publicity. Honestly, I can't remember who just said this, and I apologize who just mentioned this in the comments. I want to say DLP did. DLP said, I didn't even know it happened. I'm not shocked. Of course, I feel like, let's just go ahead and get this out here. We gave them the money. Now let's move on, right? But if somebody was doing their due diligence, if there was a report out there that was covering this like the Washington Post did the Watergate scandal, then trust and believe that you will hear about this. But the NFL, of course, they have all these different people to keep this stuff on lock and key. Of course, you're going to publicize it because, of course, it happened. But imagine if they were doing this like how they covered Deshaun Watson over the last couple months. Everybody would have something to say. I mean, I've watched a lot of debate shows. I watched First Take. I watched Undisputed. I never heard this topic come up. I never heard any settlements or any type of thing going on in court about concussions for black players. I didn't hear about that. But I heard about it today on a late edition of SportsCenter. Think that's a coincidence? I think not, folks. Yeah, they need to pay up. This doesn't surprise me at all. Unfortunately, they hide for years all the CTE situations while people were having all kinds of issues with their health while turning heads. CTE is a real thing, folks. That's the reason why, when I sit up here and I talk about guys like Nick Easton, right? I talk about him, and everybody was talking about how Nick Easton was a really good offensive lineman. And people like, I want to see him come back. Not me. When I start seeing guys having 3 and 4 concussions, I don't want to see that guy for a while. I want to make sure that this guy be able to talk to his family and be able to interact with his kids when he's 40, 50 years old. Because like I said, sometimes, we get all wrapped up into these players and we forget sometimes that these guys are human. I mean, I do it too. You know what I'm saying? I'll be upset and frustrated when I see a key player for the Saints get hurt, have a concussion. Like I think about that game with the 49ers, right? A couple years back. When Jared Cook was out there balling, Jared Cook had 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. They could not guard Jared Cook in that game. Jared Cook gets a concussion, goes out, and that was a huge blow. I was really upset. I was like, man, look at this junk here. Part of me was like, man, I wish he can still play. That, you know what I'm saying? That's the fan inside of me. But when I have an opportunity and logic sits in, I realize this man got a family. I think Jared Cook got like 5 kids. Yeah, I think he has a daughter, if I'm not mistaken, with Down syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Who he needs, you know what I'm saying, to be able to take care of. That is something that we don't think about. And I understand it as a fan, but we need to. Concussions are real, man. CTE is real. And we can't blow that off, man. We can't blow that off. TJ, people don't want to hear the truth and face the real reality when it comes to race. Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth. But we got to have these type of conversations. I mean, look, honestly, I don't care how people think, you know what I'm saying, when I start talking about situations like this. Because here's the reality, man. We're going to be stuck in the same situation if we're not able to have conversations with one another. If we're not able to open up and address these situations that are going on in this world, we're going to continue to have the same problems. Okay? I mean, it's just the truth. We don't want to hear because, like I said, it brings down the mood. But, I mean, look, they're doing exactly what they want us to do. They want me over here. They want you over there. They don't want us to meet in the middle. Because why? Because we'll really figure out what the hell going on. Facts. But we got to be able to have these type of conversations, and we got to be able to, undress ourselves, and be able to think and stop walking around with these shields on, trying to protect ourselves. We got to allow ourselves to let our head down and have these type of conversations. If we do, then things will be a lot better. If you don't, and you feel like you have everything figured out, well, like they say, if you think you got everything figured out, what the hell you got to talk to me for? But we don't. This shouldn't happen in 2021. Who believes Roger Goodell needs to be fired? Roger Goodell isn't going anywhere, Rudy, because Roger Goodell has put the NFL in position it has never, ever been. It has been making more money than it has ever made in its 102 years of existence. So trust and believe the guy who is the cash cow, the guy who is bringing all of this to the forefront, the guy who is making all of this possible, they're going to keep it. They're going to keep it. He's not going anywhere. He's here to stay. I can fart as good as any white dude. I'll be Thank you very much for that comment. AJ Farmer says you should get Delvin on the podcast. I thought about getting Delvin Bro on there, but Delvin got his own thing going. I know I was supposed to have him on here before, but some things happen. So yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'll probably get him on here in the future. If y'all believe like me that Roger Goodell should be fired effective immediately, put one in the chat. Like I said, Jerry, he's not going anywhere, man. It's hard for, it's hard for a farmer, no pun intended, AJ Farmer, but they're not going to get rid of their cash cow. A farmer is not going to get rid of his cash cow. So these owners love what Roger Goodell is doing. I agree with you, TJ. Pure disgusting. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Beacon says, yes, this is a large part of concussions. A lot. RJ Mason said, what up, TJ? Who that? What did I miss? I was talking about a $1 million lawsuit settlement between black players in the National Football League. Apparently, they were using improper evaluations, using players' race to decide if a player is eligible to get compensation once they retire, get certain benefits. So, of course, the NFL got sued for $1 billion. Concussions are and is a serious problem that can cause lasting mental health problems or even death. They seriously need to utilize injections for a blatant blow. A shot. Cook is an example. The damage done. Look, man. I mean, not only Jared Cook, but so many other players. So many other players that you can just think of, man. I mean, I don't know if some of you seen that movie Concussion with Will Smith, but you think about Mike Webster. His teammates. Like all these guys. All these different headshots in the 70s and stuff like that. They didn't have the proper protection back in the days. Concussions weren't looked at the way that they are right now. People weren't looking at these guys. They used to call them stingers. Guys get a blow to the head. Oh, man, I got a stinger. I take a couple plays off, put some water in your eyes and go back out there. Like, these guys need help, man. And then on top of that, man, these guys weren't getting paid a lot of money like these guys getting paid today. I mean, you look at somebody like Patrick Mahomes, he about to get he got a $500 million contract. You probably can line up all the players in the 1970s, big contracts to little contracts, and they won't even equate to how much Patrick Mahomes made. That goes to tell you, that goes to show you how much money that is. Take every single player who probably played and coaches in the 1970s, and I guarantee you add all their salaries up, and they probably still can't equal, or can't even equal to what Patrick Mahomes probably get. Between the, the incentives and all, like $500 million? No, sir. That is insane. Let's see. Chosen. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Says Nino Brown voice. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, Ms. Hawkins. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Yeah, man. Evaluating somebody based on what you feel like their IQ is ridiculous. Man, I'm from the 17 and I'm to tuck my chain in my shirt while listening to this podcast. Louisiana and Mississippi has so much poor people and poor education. Yeah, I mean, look, they're bottom of the barrel, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, Louisiana maybe like 49, Mississippi like 50, and Alabama, they up there too. So I don't know, 48, 49, and 50. I mean, low educational systems, poverty-stricken areas, man, just imagine somebody evaluating you based on that. It's ridiculous. Coming from Louisiana and living here all my life, I agree. Yeah. The State of the Saints podcast, Big Q says, hey, tell Big Q I said what up. Shouts out to Big Q. Says, does anyone know if Anthony or Brittle Davis playing tonight? I don't know, man. They say it was a game time decision with a groin injury. I don't know, man. If he plays tonight, it's because the media really been getting at him. White, black, we all the same in God's eyes. Absolutely, Caleb. If only all of the world understood that. Are you saying specifically Gulfport is better than most of state? I'm just making general statements from recent history, but things change. Nah, man. I mean, look, all of them at the bottom of the totem pole. Just being real. Educational systems are really at an all-time low in those states. Let's see. Even though we are poor, I believe we make do with what we have, and we help those around us. That's the beauty of community. Yeah, it is beautiful. That when you have a community that rally around each other, I do feel like there's a level of unity that still needs to take place, in some of these communities. But, when you're in like smaller areas, when everybody know everybody, there is a more of a tendency of being able to help one another and stuff like that. I think this is becoming a lost art, though, unfortunately. The NFL doesn't care about the players' well-being and safety. They need to be embarrassed of themselves. Rand, they're not embarrassed. They're not embarrassed. You think the NFL is embarrassed? If they were embarrassed, they wouldn't ask players to play on Sunday and then turn around and play on a Thursday night. They wouldn't have all these different games on these short weeks. They wouldn't ask some of these players to play through some of these issues. They wouldn't try to convince these players to keep playing because we need you. When for a fact, if you're talking to a doctor and that doctor has went to school and he understands, like, if a player continue to play on an ankle, or he continue to play with that shoulder, or he continue to play with that head injury, that is going to continue to have lingering effects. But I need you out there because we got to beat Tampa, or we got to beat the Chargers, or we got to beat the Raiders. Like, they don't care, man. They don't care. Yes. Concussions change your life immediately. Seriously. Yeah. The White House barely could keep stuff on the DL. I mean, look, we know that there are stories out there. If you have there are stories that should be brought to the forefront that are kept on the hush. I think we can agree to that. I'll let you pick whatever you think, but there are stories out there that we all know that they keep on the hush. Al Sharpton, thank you very much for the $2. Says, I'm gonna figure out how to cash in on this situation. Man. Look, I have my opinions about these leaders and stuff like that, man. I'll keep that for another show. But I don't feel like I'll just leave it at this. I don't feel like anybody needs to capitalize on somebody's failures or anybody's hurt. I feel like anybody that's doing that and don't have that person's well-being at heart, when you're doing it, I feel like the world can do without those individuals. Tyrone says, I've been a Saints fan since Jim Haslett and the lunchbox. Okay. Okay. All right, man. Been a fan since about 2000. Okay. Well, shouts out to you, man. Thank you for being here, Tyrone. And, this is the Saints podcast. We talk New Orleans Saints. That's all we talk about here for the most part, unless they have something serious that goes down like the topic of the night or the day or the evening, whenever you're checking out the podcast. So thank you for being here. Let's go. RJ says it's just like when Tommy Lee Lewis got hurt. TJ, we was playing in the playoff game. Are you talking about that 9 call? Are you talking about when he got hit and there was that 9 call? Yeah. I mean, look, that was one of them times I wish he would have been, not that seriously hurt, but at least played hurt, like, man, I joke about that, but hey, they would have had to peel me off that field, man. I would have went limp. I would have been like, if you ever seen, movie Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise, right? With Cuba Gooding Jr. was the wide receiver, Jerry Maguire. When he ended up getting hurt and he was on the field or whatever like that, he didn't move. Then all of a sudden the crowd just started cheering, stuff like that. He got up and started breakdancing. That would have been me. I would have been Cuba Gooding Jr. I would have got knocked out cold. Man, it would have had to pick me up off that field, man. I'm sorry. I'm glad he was okay, though. But, man, I would have had to fake it to make it that day. Tyra says the truth I come to know is that people only address what they want to, or they would rather cover up the issues, because the only way to affect real change is to come together, and truthfully banding together scares people. Pay attention, folks. Yeah, I mean, that's just the truth right there. If they don't want us to come together, you know what I'm saying? The establishment don't want blacks and whites and Asians and Hispanics and, gay and straight. They don't want them to come together, man, because if they do, then they're going to, get together and realize what the real problems are, I mean, it's just what it is, man. Like, man, I just feel like sometimes we just so misguided, man, and there's just so much white noise, that blocks, blocks us from really know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes us hate one another. That makes us like so distant from one another. Like there's not a television show. There's not a movie you can watch to help you understand what goes on in the black community, because every situation is different. There's not a movie that you can watch, in my opinion, that can tell you about the white community. Like, we're all getting told about one another through movies and news coverage, but that's not always the case. Like, how many conversations have you had with people that look like, that don't look like you? How many, conversations have you had with individuals that been from these areas? It's not a time that doesn't go by. I'm talking to folks, and, every now and then, they'll tell me, oh, you're not what I thought you were. Like, huh? What did you think I was? Like stuff like that. Like, we miss out on getting to know some really good people because we think we have everything figured out. That's asinine. That's asinine, folks. We have to get to know each other, man. Cut the TV off. Like, don't y'all know this is entertainment that y'all watching? It's entertainment. It's here to entertain you. It's here to tell you what you want to hear. It's here to tell you, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with them, right? And we become accustomed to listening to things that we feel are right in our heart. But sometimes we have to look over that fence, man, and see what's going on. It may not be that bad, but there's always it's always something that they tell you to be afraid of. My question is, what are you afraid of? And think about this. What has triggered that fear? Think about this, man. You know, I tell Paxton all the time, right? When me and my wife are cooking, he'll get over there, you know, and all on the stove. We have a gas stove, and you know, you get close to it, like, oh no, it's hot. We'll tell him it's hot, right? But he never burnt himself, right? And when he sees the fire on, he'll say hot, hot, but he never experienced that. He only knows that it's something, it's a fear because we're telling him this. We're instilling that in him. But one day I'm pretty sure he's going to burn himself. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully not bad, but he might touch something that's hot and he's going to experience that heat. That, okay, when my dad says hot or my mom says hot, this is what they're talking about. How many times have we went into the belly of the beast, that beast that we're supposed to be afraid of? How many times have we went there? Or is it somebody telling us about that beast? Is it somebody telling us that we need to be scared of that dog over there? Is it somebody telling us that, oh, people are trying to take things away from us? If you're deprived, if you're poor, if you're disenfranchised, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're watching social media and you're seeing a dude that lived down the street from you taking a better trip than you took in the last 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff is getting instilled inside of you. That anger is balling up. And of course, we don't want to have these type of conversations. We don't want to have these come to Jesus meetings with ourselves and say, man, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with that person, right? They don't work as hard as me. I'm out here busting my tail every single day. What makes them different from me? How are you feeling this way, folks? Did anybody do something to you personally? Did anybody hurt you personally? Did anybody touch your family personally? Or are you being told these things? You have to learn from one another. Period. Have these conversations. Stop allowing outside forces to mess with your mind. You know, create your own narrative. Find your own conclusions. That's all I'm saying. Or what about Mike Ditka days? They were a terrible team, 3-13. I went to games with my dad those years. I was like, this team is terrible. Yeah, Chris, they weren't very good when Mike Ditka was here. I feel like that was during a time when the Saints really had no identity. They were a desperate football team, and they seen a head coach who had some success in Chicago. And, you know, Mike Ditka to me is an egomaniac. Is a person that I feel, he thinks that, which he does deserve some credit. But let's just be honest about this, man. You had the godfather of the 46 defense and Buddy Ryan, who made that defense one of the most feared and well-respected defenses in NFL history. And some people can say that Mike Ditka kind of rode the wave of Buddy Ryan's success. Think it's a coincidence that when Buddy Ryan went to Philadelphia, all of a sudden the Chicago Bears just fell off defensively. They took steps back. Think that's a coincidence? So I just feel like the New Orleans Saints were desperate and they needed a shot in the arm. They needed identity. And I feel like they gave Mike Ditka way too much leeway. And Mike Ditka, being a man with a huge ego, felt like, oh, what this snake bitten, no good franchise can tell me. Y'all wasn't nothing. So all y'all can do is just sit back and watch me work. And what he did, he ran his franchise into the ground by squandering all them draft picks for Ricky Williams, which, you know what I'm saying, Ricky Williams was a hell of a talent coming out of Texas. But come on, man, if you can't get Ricky, you just can't get Ricky. I'd rather sit up here and just, get draft players that I feel like can help this team benefit. And you end up setting this team back for years, because then not only did they lose every draft pick they had in that draft, but they lost first round draft picks the following draft. So it was a terrible experience. Worst thing, probably one of the worst things that happened to the Saints franchise, and that's saying a lot. And in my opinion, he was one of the worst coaches the Saints had. I mean, when you're looking at and evaluating coaches, I mean, he's gonna be on that list because there's not much to choose from. It's like Jim Mora It's like Sean Payton, Jim Moore, and everybody else. And you probably can throw Jim Haslett up in there. So you can say, Sean Payton, Jim Moore, Jim Haslett, and everybody else. So Jasper says, I'm from Bruce Lee, Louisiana, a small town, and we poor people, as my grandma would say. Yeah, look, man. We all understand, man. I don't want to say we all understand, but I definitely understand. I understand about being poor. I understand about not having. I just don't want anybody to evaluate me based on where I came from. I mean, we only can play with the hand that we were dealt. All right, that's all we can do. But we can't rise above our circumstances. And even if you are poor, right, you still can be rich at heart, rich in mind. That's just the truth. Like, your circumstance, you can always rise above it. See, the problem is when you fall into that trap. When you're made to believe that this is your circumstance and you're never going to get out that circumstance. You're never gonna grow. You're never going to evolve. That's when you lost. That's when you become a true failure. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to make the best of your situation, and you don't want to be judged based on your circumstance. So whoever asked a question about AD, he is playing tonight. No setbacks in warm up. Figures with the elimination game and playoff exit at State, I expect them to play. Still hope the Suns win, though. Not a fan of either team. Look, Anthony Davis got punked into playing. Yes, I said it. He got punked into playing tonight. If he plays tonight, he got punked into playing because everybody has been saying what everybody in New Orleans have known since Anthony Davis left Kentucky and he became, a member of the New Orleans Pelicans. He always was hurt and a spectacular player. Like they say, he's hell when he's well, but he's always hurt, period. I mean, now all of a sudden it's on a larger scale now and everybody paying attention to it. And it's such a big deal now because he's not just playing for the lowly 30th in the league when it comes to media market Pelicans. Oh, no. He's playing with LeBron and LA. He's playing for the Lakers. So all of a sudden it's such a huge deal now. But this guy's been this guy for a long time. Okay. I mean, some of these people are just late to the party. They're just late. But he got punked into playing tonight. If nobody would have said anything, Anthony Davis hurt. If Charles Barkley wouldn't have talked about him, if everybody went around here talking about Anthony Davis always hurt, Anthony Davis would have been in street clothes. If he's not in street clothes already. Tyra said he's playing tonight. So he got punked into playing. If nobody would have said anything, trust and believe Anthony Davis would not be playing tonight. His ego has got him playing tonight. He will not be playing. That's just my honest opinion. But, man, let's go ahead and move on, man. Let's go ahead and move on. But before we do, letting everybody know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And right now, we all know that Father's Day is just around the corner. I think it's June 20th, if I'm not mistaken. And what better gift can you give to your dad or to yourself than the Lawnmower 4.0? And let me grab it real quick so everybody can see it. This is the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, okay? If you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, that's all one word, you can save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. Don't matter if you spend $100 or $10, use that promo code State of Saints, all one word, and you will save 20% off on all Manscaped items. And also have some good news if you didn't hear already. State of Saints podcast will be partnering with the Pigskin Podcast Network starting in August. That's right. Thank you to the Pigskin Podcast Network as well as Amaze Media Labs. Your boy, the State of Saints podcast, Yes, that's right. We got some corporate backing now, ladies and gentlemen. The Pigskin Podcast Network, happy to be on board. And the State of the Saints podcast, starting this 2021 football season, will be sponsored by DraftKings. That's right, DraftKings. All right, so definitely excited about that. Glad to be on board. A newly up and coming media, media program in Amaze Media Labs. Great to be a part of their sports division, and man, just looking forward to it, man. Just looking forward to it. Not much is going to change. I'm still going to be on YouTube, still going to be the State of the Saints podcast. Just got a Amaze Media Lab as a partner, and still going to be sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped still here, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about it, man. We come a long way, and I'm just excited about the direction this show is going in and everything that's going on. And man, we ain't stopping, man. I'm not satisfied yet. I won't be satisfied until the State of the Saints podcast is number one. All right. Until it's number one, until it's number one. That's when I rest. Okay. Right now I'm happy. Number 5, you know what I'm saying? Top 10 globally, like we're in the top 10 globally around the world, top 5 in the country. Cool. I'm all for that. Great. But I want to be the absolute best. I want to be the absolute best. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I get behind the mic, nothing is on my mind except being one of the best and give you the best experience possible. All right. No disrespect to any other podcasts out there. Great podcast, but your boy want to be the best. And I feel like if you're not trying to be the best, then what are you doing it for? So thank y'all so much, man, for making this show possible. Thank you for all the people out there that have stuck with me since day one. Shouts out to all the people out there that understand that, it's all love. And, instead of the people that be crying in the chat, oh, you ain't look at my comments. You ain't look at my comments. Like, thank you for all those people out there that understand it's all love. And, my love is not, like based on me reading your comments. For some apparent reason, it just means so much to so many people out there. And if I don't read your comments, then I'm fake and phony and I'm Hollywood and all that other crap, which is hilarious to me. I'm about as far as Hollywood as you can get, I'm definitely, I'm definitely suitable. South Carolina from California is a very long way. So definitely ain't Hollywood over here, and never will be. Clay says, love the podcast, bro. Best Saints coverage out here right now. Keep it up, bro. Clay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Agenda 21 is real. If we overcome our differences, we can stop it. Tough to do, Josh, when so many people just listen to the nonsense. If you love the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and give your boy a thumbs up, man. Let everybody know you're loving the podcast. False narratives are going down. People are waking up more now. I agree with that. I agree. There are a lot of people waking up. But, man, let's go ahead and move on, man. We talked longer than I wanted to about that whole situation. But let's go ahead and talk about the NFL Top 100 brought to you by CBS, okay? CBS had an NFL Top 100, and apparently they had some Saints on the list. Of course, they had Michael Thomas. They had Teron Armstead, Alvin Kamara, guys like that, but they were missing Ryan Ramczyk. That's right. Ryan freaking Ramczyk did not make the list. Once again, Ryan Ramczyk getting snubbed from a list. This is absolutely ridiculous, the way that they just completely snubbed Ryan Ramczyk. Now, y'all know how I feel about Ryan Ramczyk. I will tell you, Ryan Ramczyk is the best Saints player on the team to me, okay? Like, we fall in love with the receivers and the quarterbacks, but no, Ryan Ramczyk to me, when we talking about football players, Ryan Ramczyk to me is the best player on the Saints team, okay? You can talk about Alvin Kamara and his talent. You can talk about Michael Thomas and his talent. Ryan Ramczyk is the truth. And the fact that this guy continuously gets snubbed the way that he does, the way that nobody really pays attention to the greatness of a Ryan Ramczyk is absolutely embarrassing. It is sickening. This guy continuously does his job game in, game out, always ranked in the top 2 or 3 according to Pro Football Focus, at his position, had one of the best defensive ends of this generation, and J.J. Watt held them to not a single statistical tackle or sack in a game versus the Houston Texans when the Saints played them a couple of years ago. This guy doesn't give up sacks. This guy barely gets any flags called on him. Even on his worst day, he's still one of the best right tackles in football. Yet this guy never makes the Pro Bowl. Yet this guy never gets mentioned for All-Pro. And yet again, you don't put this guy on the list as an NFL top 100 player. First off, I'm wondering to myself, who the hell is making this list? Number two, are the players having anything to do with these lists? And number three, is Ryan Ramczyk a victim of his own greatness? That's right. Is it the fact that Ryan Ramczyk does his job so well that nobody pays attention to him? So maybe Ryan Ramczyk needs to give up a couple sacks in order for him to come back a couple weeks later and play better. Maybe he needs to do that, because I don't believe there is no earthly reason why Ryan Ramczyk isn't on anybody's list. I don't understand how Ryan Ramczyk is not an All-Pro. I don't understand how he just continuously gets snubbed during a Pro Bowl. And I get it, right? When you look at the news, when you're looking at all of this coverage out here, I get it. They want to talk about the Cowboys ad nauseum. They want to talk about the Patriots ad nauseum. They want to talk about the Steelers. I get it. The Saints are somewhere on the back page or somewhere between page 17 and page 18. But at the same time, when you have all of these damn primetime games, when you have all of this different exposure, when you see Drew Brees in a pocket, you know what I'm saying, with time, delivering the ball down the field, how do you think he's having that time? Do you care to look at the front line? Do you care to look at the offensive line at all? Ryan Ramczyk is a really good right tackle. If Ryan Ramczyk, when he gets his contract, I would not be upset. I don't care what anybody says. You can get mad, you can whine, you can boo-hoo, you can talk about contract. Man, he don't. No. We talk about this all the time. We talk about how players don't deserve the money that they get. Ryan Ramczyk deserves to be the highest paid right tackle in football. And if that sets the Saints back, then so be freaking it, because that guy earned every dime of his money. And the NFL is doing this guy a disservice, right? And I feel like the Saints are some straight up bona fide certified suckers if they use these type of analytics as leverage not to pay this dude. Seriously, because we know how the NFL works. Oh, well, you didn't make the Pro Bowl. Well, you weren't the first team All-Pro. It was no fault of his own. Pay this man his money. He deserves every dime of his money. He deserves to be the highest paid right tackle in football. And if you're a Saints fan and if you're using logic, you should understand. Straight up. If anybody deserves to get paid on the Saints team, is Ryan freaking Ramczyk. I don't care what anybody says. You can get mad all you want to. You can pout. You can all you want. The dude deserves his money. That guy to me has Hall of Fame talent. I want somebody to disagree with me. I want somebody to tell me that Ryan freaking Ramczyk doesn't have Hall of Fame talent. And I'll tell you to go look at games 1 through 16. Because the dude is a beast. Don't care what nobody says. Don't care what nobody says. The dude deserves every freaking dime. Every dime of his money. You represent the Saints swag so well. I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you, man. If you're from South Carolina, then how did you become a Saints fan? And are you an LSU fan? Rudy, I am from New Orleans. Okay. I was born and raised in New Orleans, man. I grew up in the Ninth Ward. I went to Lorraine Hansberry Elementary School on Clewitt Street in the Ninth Ward. I went to Charles Jake Colton on St. Claude for middle school. And I went to Frederick Douglass on St. Claude 9th grade year and graduated from Culver High School on 3059 Higgins Boulevard in New Orleans. Okay. I went to Dillard University one year, my freshman year, before I transferred after Katrina to Jackson State University. I am New Orleans. I'm about as New Orleans as a high sergeant on French dress. I'm about as New Orleans as 1825 Tulane. I'm about New Orleans as at the Beauty Mart. We save it all at the beauty mart. We save it all. That's what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm New Orleans up in this thing. Okay? Don't get it twisted. We live in Myrtle Beach right now. Okay? Myrtle Beach, opportunities brought us to Myrtle Beach. Okay? It brought us here. All right? You know what I'm saying? But I'm New Orleans. Okay? I'm New Orleans like a big shot pineapple. You did. I'm New Orleans like liver cheese. You did. Hog head cheese. Where my people at? I'm New Orleans like Magnolia Stove. Right? The Galvez Pharmacy. Man, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Come on now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do that to me, Rudy. We certified here, man. We certified New Orleans over here. Ain't nothing changed but the letters on the mail. But we still New Orleans. I believe we need to get rid of the Pro Bowl. It's nothing but a popularity contest and hardline. Anyone watch it? Yeah, I believe it. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. That's the talk. Exactly, man. DLP, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey, New Orleans like Swagman's. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Swagman's on Old Gentilly. All right? You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about the Swagman's over there off Elysian Fields in St. Claude. I'm talking about Old Gentilly. You did. New Orleans like catching a broad bus with a bus ticket. Big shot New Orleans made. Yes, sir. Donald, you already know. I love hog head cheese. My dad from New Orleans. He was from Gretna. Well, my family is from Golden Meadows. Okay, shouts out to your family, man, from Gretna. TJ, New Orleans like shrimp, fried rice, and chicken wings at the corner market. Yes, sir. Okay. China Inn. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even go to the corner market like that, man. We went to the China Inn on Franklin Avenue, man. That's my stomping ground right there. That Winn-Dixie, that Papa Seafood Deli. Man, what y'all talking about, man? Come on now. Stop it. I'm New Orleans like that Winn-Dixie off Franklin across the street when that Churches was right there. Before they changed it to Papa Seafood. Man, y'all, some of y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Some of y'all, I probably lost some of y'all, but some of y'all, I'll be like, nah, y'all here. Y'all know what it is. Who that? Tell them, TJ. They don't know. Hey, I got them stories. Okay. New Orleans like catching that Galvez bus. Yeti. Nothing like Deanie from Bucktown. Yes, sir. So New Orleans like Shoetown. Yes, sir. Man, I'm reaching some folk now. Facts. The window Chinese on Franklin and K-Bar hit different. That's what I'm talking, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Franklin Avenue. Go over there to that Pizza Hut over there in the cut. Go over there to that, you know what I'm saying, to the gas station over there. Get a pick 3. Come on. What we doing here, man? Come on. Where my folk at? Where my New Orleans people at? What about, man? Yeah, man. Shouts out, man. Roger, man. Roger know what I'm talking about here, man. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the $5. Yo, TJ, you ever been to the walkthrough zoo in Myrtle Beach? Have I? Walkthrough zoo? No, I have not. No, I haven't. I haven't been there. I've been to the aquarium, though. Winn-Dixie's still open. I don't know if that Winn-Dixie's still open. I think it may be Save-A-Lot. Last time I was down there was Save-A-Lot. Whoever's still in New Orleans or Franklin Avenue is still Save-A-Lot. I know it's not Winn-Dixie no more. Blame the Pro Bowl on Roger Goodell when he took it out of Hawaii, which made no sense at all. I think they just need to scrap the whole thing. I mean, they didn't even have a Pro Bowl last year, but who cared? Well, honestly, who cares? I didn't. Will the real 504 stand up? I repeat, will the real 504 stand up? Born and raised from Gulfport, Mississippi, visiting New Orleans every year. Yeah, the Chinese restaurant on Franklin Avenue, the best. Man, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Get that shrimp fried rice. That's cool, Jerry. That's cool, man. Look, the golf, you know what I'm saying, Gulfport, all that, man, you know what I'm saying, that area right down the street. TJ, New Orleans like a speed trap between Brees and Arrowhead. Right. New Orleans like Blue Bayou. That's more Baton Rouge right there. that's chosen neck of the woods right there. But Jazzland, you know what I'm saying? We talk about Jazzland in the East before it became Six Flags. It's still Winn-Dixie. Okay. TJ, that aquarium is real nice. Need a couple more fish up in there for me, inevitable. Need a few more fish. It's not the aquarium of the Americas, you know. It's still a couple Winn-Dixie still open. Yeah, I know they got one on Chef, you know, Chef Mentor Highway. That one has been there forever. Nola in the house and a longtime Saints fan. I'm taking a trip to New Orleans. What spots should I check out? One spot I definitely go to every single time I go back to New Orleans. First off, I got to go back to the hometown corner store, Magnolia. Shouts out to Big Rod, Big Al out there. And I definitely have to go to Cajun Seafood on Claiborne. I have to go there. Got to go there and give me that shrimp and fish plate. You know what I'm saying? I go there before I even check into a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't you know what I'm saying, be chilling with my brother at his crib, you know, like that's the first. I stopped there before I check into a hotel. I was born and raised in Metairie, Louisiana. Yeah, Chris, man, look, shouts out to Metairie, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, yes, sir, man. Blue Bayou Water Park. Man, I'm in Philly these days, but I'm West Bank, like Perino Seafood by the Harvey Tunnel. Man, that's my stepdad's stomping ground around there, man. And rest in peace to Mr. J, Mr. Benjamin Poole, man. He was from Harvey, Louisiana. My stepdad, he from a railroad. So yeah, man. Shouts out to those individuals. Rest in peace, Mr. J. He was a real big Saints fan too. King says right in the hood in the third ward. Y'all talking about, man. My uncle, shouts out to them, man. They went to Peters up there by the jailhouse, you know what I'm saying? By the court. Yeah, man. My before it became Israel Augustine, they actually went to Peters. I don't know why my grandmother sent like my uncles to Peters. I don't know why. I don't know why they went to school way uptown. I never understood that. I mean, we stayed like in the 9th ward, and we used to have to like. I mean, I can remember her like riding down Broad just to go pick up my uncles from Peters, like when I was a kid. I just never understood that. I always wondered. And I'm pretty sure my uncles watch this show. So if they're looking at it right now, feel free, Jerry, to explain to me why grandmama sent y'all to Peters. I never just understood that. Born and raised in Montague, Louisiana, still live there 41 years. Greg, ironically, my grandmother's house was on Montague Street in New Orleans. So in between like some of the tough times, you know, growing up as a kid, you know, used to stay with my grandparents on Montague Street quite a bit. So yeah, that's my old stomping ground right there. Don't forget the Wing Shack by the Lafitte, TJ. My mom wouldn't let me go nowhere near there, man. But I know what you're talking about, though. To be honest, I visit Louisiana every weekend only because my dad, who is also from Gulfport, lives in Kenner and works in Metairie. Okay. Yeah, man, that's the area right here. And we reached the part of the show where we can just kind of drift off and taking trips down memory lane. Cajun Seafood is fire. Yeah, that's my favorite place right there, man. That's my favorite place to go to. New Orleans, like Children's Hospital on Chapatoulas. Yeah, man. I've been there a couple times. I was a accident prone kid. Claiborne Esplanade Manchu chicken is the best. Yeah, they pretty doggone good too. TJ, if Sean Payton resigns or gets fired, what coach would you hire to replace him? That's a good question. Who would I get to replace him? I'm a Jim Harbaugh guy. I like Jim Harbaugh. I just think Jim Harbaugh is not a good college coach. I think he's a good pro coach. I would say Jim Harbaugh would be high on my list. If I can get any coach I want, Mike Tomlin would be on that list. Lovie Smith would be on that list. You know, guys like that. I try to talk Tony Dungy coming out of retirement, something like that. You know, one of those guys. But Jim Harbaugh would be on the top of my list. I think Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. I just don't think that he's a good college coach. I think he's a better pro coach. I'm learning a lot more about Louisiana, and I am in hour and 20 minutes from Gulfport to Kenner. Okay. TJ, I'm from the Ninth Ward Desire Project, but went to Walter Cohen. Man, got a dog, man. Got a dog. No, you got up early, bro. God, dog. No, you had to get up early to go to school. I grew up right off Chef. Okay. All right. Right off Chef. Okay. Man, shouts out to my my Uncle Sherman, man, who recently passed away, man. He used to live like right off Chef. New Orleans like a strawberry daiquiri at the lakefront with your girl at sunset on a Friday. Eugene, you almost had me until you said Friday. Everybody know. I don't even need to tell everybody. Look, somebody tell me, when is the lakefront popping the most? Okay, so look, I know you. I'm going to know if you from New Orleans by that response. I ain't even going to tell you. When is Lake Pontchartrain popping the most? Where my folk at? What day? Exactly. There we go. Sunday. Key. Sunday. Oh, man. Yes, sir. Car show. There we go. Rob. Sunday. Kid Dale. Sunday. Rudy. Sunday. Chosen. Sunday. Y'all know, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's New Orleans folk right there. The lake would be popping on a Sunday. Now, Friday, that's a good day for your girl, man. Go out there, St. Rock Seafood, get yourself, or you can go to the seafood spot not too far from the Bunny Bread Factory. You go out there, got your crawfish, get your corn on the cob, get yourself some newspaper, lay that thing down, eat you some crawfish out there, look at the water. Good romantic spot, you know what I'm saying? Be able to chase your girl up a hill, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I go, man. But Sunday, that's when everybody show up and show out. That's when everybody had their cars out there. That's when you had the guys out there selling tapes out the back of their trunk. That's when you had, you know what I'm saying, the trap boys out there and all that other stuff, okay? It was on Sunday. TJ, what do you know about We Never Close? Oh, bro, come on now. Why are you gonna disrespect me like that, Nolan? What I know about We Never Close? What you know about that kicking chicken plate? Yes, sir. Kicking chicken plate. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, not only do we talk about Saints, we talk about New Orleans as a whole. Yes, We Never Close. Kings of the kicking chicken plate. That's right. That's when they weren't stingy with the chicken. Now it's like chicken be about that small. I'm talking about when that chicken was plump, swole, cock diesel chicken. You know what I'm saying? Get about 10 pieces with some fries. Man, my goodness. That was some good eating right there, man. That was some good eating. Man, y'all taking your boy back. Under the bridge on Sunday. I lived off Drex Avenue. Oh, man, I knew exactly where you stayed at. You didn't stay that far from where I stayed at one time. I used to stay off Rabbit Street, man. At one time. Drex wasn't that far from there at all. TJ can't wait till the Saints draft Lamont Harrison. Me too, man. Can't wait for that day. Whoever that is. I miss tasty donuts, TJ. I was more of a McKenzie's guy. I wasn't really big on the tasty donuts. On Claiborne under the bridge, yeah, that's Mardi Gras stuff right there, and second line stuff. Skating ring on Shuffman to a highway. I couldn't skate worth a good God, you know what? But I've been there before, and I bust my tail quite a few times on field trips. Bro, you took me all the way back with that newspaper under the seafood, bro. Oh man, come on now. I'm not a real big seafood eater. I mean, crawfish eater like that. Like I'm the black sheep of my family when it comes to eating crawfish, but I can remember going out there with the newspaper and, eating a few crawfish, wasn't a big fan like my mom and my brothers and my sister are of crawfish, but I can remember those days. Definitely. I hope we have Mardi Gras this year. I don't see why they wouldn't, probably 2022, not this year. I live closer to Baton Rouge than NOLA. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you live close, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't nothing but like an hour, hour away. I heard Morgan City had the best donut, some donut shop in Morgan City. Okay, have to check that out. If Brees doesn't sign with New Orleans in 2006, Saban probably stays in Miami, and the whole landscape of professional and college football is way different today. Inevitable. I know a lot of people like to say that theory. Drink a little water. I know a lot of people like to make that theory, but I think that people make that theory. They completely dismiss the greatness of Sean Payton as an offensive play caller. Like, people just automatically just assume Nick Saban would have got Drew Brees and Drew Brees would have been what he was today. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Drew Brees would be the all-time leading passer. I don't feel like Drew Brees would be considered as one of the greatest quarterbacks to play. I think that people dismiss Sean Payton. And, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful. I think Sean Payton is the mastermind. I think Sean Payton put Drew Brees in these positions. I think Sean Payton was the one that was burning the midnight oil, coming up with these plays that was beneficial to Drew. Now, you do need a guy who is a guy that goes out there and pulls the trigger. But at the same time, like, Sean Payton is a really good play call. And I understand, like, you look at Nick Saban, but Nick Saban, who is a really good coach in college, is kind of a tad bit different, right? Because if he's going out there recruiting his tail off and you getting 4- and 5-star athletes, you getting the best players in the country to come to your university, of course, they're going to end up being really, really good, right? And you combine that with some of the best coaches that teams have to offer, of course. But when you're looking at the NFL, you might have a really good player on this at this particular position. He lacks at this position. He might be good at this position. He lacks at this position, and you have to turn that into a team. And I feel like by us saying that, it's funny to say, oh, what would have happened? Yeah, he probably would have went to Miami, but would he have been what we see him as today? I don't know. I think that if you say that, it's like you're dismissing Sean Payton's greatness. That's just my honest opinion. Sean Payton helped Drew Brees to be who we see him as today. And I think we need to give him a little bit more credit than that. Because who's to say if he would have went to Miami and Sean Payton would have ended up getting Tony Romo, will we be looking at Tony Romo differently today? We don't know. I mean, hindsight is 2020 because we're basing what we think about Tony Romo on what he did with the Cowboys. But who's to say because Tony Romo was Sean Payton's first choice. So who's to say if Sean Payton would have got his hands on Tony Romo, would we be looking at Tony Romo differently? If Nick Saban would have got his hands on Drew Brees, would we be looking at Drew Brees the same way we look at him today? It's an interesting conversation. It's easy. It's easy for us to say that because we're looking at the outcome based on different situations. But to me, I think that people are dismissing, the greatness of Sean Payton as a head coach. So I don't know. Payton is also a great recruiter. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of I don't know now because they've been swinging and missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, a couple of years ago, right? They was trying to get in Ndamukong Suh. He didn't come here. They ended up trying to get to David Clowney, and he didn't come here. You know what I'm saying? Like they was at one time we thought that Richard Sherman before he actually went to San Francisco, we had a chance of getting him. I couldn't get him. So I mean, I don't know. Like, is he that great of a recruiter? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, swing and a miss. I mean, TJ Carrier, right? That was one of them top cornerbacks that was in the free agent market recently. He came to New Orleans, had a sit down visit, talked a little bit, and left without a contract. I mean, I don't know, man. How great is he as a recruiter? I'm just wondering. Greg says you just said a mouthful, TJ. it is showing picking up. Yeah. Raiders will win. Raiders will win you. I don't know what that means. Imagine Payton took a Green Bay job. Does Brees still sign with New Orleans? Yes. Yes, he does. Because Sean Payton wasn't the reason why Drew Brees came to New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina was the main focus of why Drew Brees came to New Orleans. I mean, if you want to be real, because here's the reality. Here's the reality. Sean Payton was not a fan of Drew Brees when he first got here. Like, we can say that now, or they love each other, or it's a partnership. He was not a fan like how we are right now. Like, he was iffy. And especially, like, I've heard on several occasions, people like Mike Ditka and other people that have been following the team, watching Drew Brees when he had his first training camp, he did not look like this. And I think I can't remember if it was Mike Ditka or some other reporter said, Sean looked and said, man, are we sure about this guy? So Drew wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Drew wasn't like on Sean Payton's like main list. It was Tony Romo. If Bill Parcells would have allowed Sean Payton to grab Tony Romo would have been a Saint. I mean, there wouldn't have been no Drew Brees. But Drew Brees came here because of Hurricane Katrina. Like Drew Brees always talks about, like when Sean Payton was driving through the city, he was showing Drew Brees around. They got lost, and they ended up going into like areas that was completely devastated due to Katrina. And he looked at his wife, and Sean was like, man, he ain't never coming here. But that was the sole reason why he ended up coming here in the long run. Now, I'm pretty sure, like Sean Payton, I'm here, and I got these plays for you, this, that, and the third. That helped. But Drew often says that Hurricane Katrina was the reason why. And him seeing that devastation and him feeling like him and his wife, could have been of service to the city during that time. So, yes, he would have ended up being here, to me, regardless who the coach was. Because I think he felt like it was a higher calling that got him here. So, yes, he would have came, in my opinion. Hey, TJ, when was the last time you had a good gumbo jambalaya and sauce picante? I don't know. The last time my mama cooked it, been a while. Tony Romo was going to be the guy. Yeah, that's who he wanted. Didn't get cloudy either, which ended up being the best thing that ever happened in the long run, which I kind of called that, I kind of called that. I was glad that didn't work out. And as y'all can see, the Saints were okay. But it worked out outstanding. Yep. You have a Saints apron too. That's awesome. I love cooking. I have 5 different dry rubs. I made my own hot sauce and barbecue sauce. Well, you'll get along with my mom because she does the same thing. Anthony says, sup, Black and Golds. Anthony, thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Had mama's crawfish bisque and Creole gumbo for a straight up week when visiting home. Got my mind right to the next visit. Yeah, man. That's one thing that I love. Like, I have to get my mama to make some barbecue ribs every time I hit town. My mama can make the heck out of some ribs. I called that Hendrickson would be a beast. Yeah, I kind of called that too. Somebody argued me down. Man, Trey Hendrickson ain't going to be that good. If he was that good, why he ain't starting? I haven't heard from that brother. Not recently. Where he was at? I bet that boy a free T-shirt and everything. I ain't seen him since. I remember back in the day, we were going hard to get Deion and he ended up signing with San Francisco, which was a smart decision. Clowney got $10 million with the Browns. He gets that bag, but not going to do nothing. I don't know, man. Look, Jadeveon Clowney got the best agent in the world because how they finesse these teams into, mediocre talent, and making it seem like they really need him. Like, it's amazing. I don't know how they do it. Unleash Harris. I think they're going to do that. Straight facts. Man, here's the reality. All right. I want to go back to Deonte Harris before I get up out of here. I think that he's going to be a much better player because now he can be a downfield threat. I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to make a lot of plays. I think he's going to be extremely explosive as long as he stays healthy. I'm going to love to watch him play. I like watching Deonte Harris play anyway. Anytime he get the ball in his hand, it's like, watch out. You know, I love the way that he plays the game. The way that he can see the field. You know what I'm saying? The way it seems like he knows he's like 2 or 3 steps ahead of the defender that's going up against him. It's like he already think about the next move he's gonna make, before he even makes the move. The first move. It's amazing. Nate Burleson always had a good agent too, slightly above average, always getting paid big money. I can see why Nate Burleson always seems to get the bag because he's a charismatic, charming guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, watching him on NFL Network, CBS Sports, being a part of the commentator crew on Sundays, I can see why. He's a charming guy. You put him in a room, he can sell himself. He's a smart guy, really fast, talented to a certain extent. It wasn't like, all pro talent or anything like that, but there was a place for him. Eugene says, just shoot SOTS into my veins, mainline it. I appreciate you, Eugene. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And we're going to finish it up with DLP. DLP says, Clowney bombed out in Tennessee last year for $15 million. That's okay. Clowney will be out of football if he doesn't pan out this year. DLP, I tell you what, but it won't be any slow singing or flower bringing for Davion Clowney because he has made hand over fist with dollar bills. Okay, so he gonna be all right, regardless of what we may think about it. All right, at the end of the day, he made a lot of money, and he needs to thank the Lord above for the agent that he got, because I don't know how that agent do it. I don't know how he does this Chris Angel, David Copperfield type act, finessing these teams out of all this money for a guy that never had double-digit sacks, a guy that played the opposite side of arguably the greatest defensive end in NFL history, and J.J. Watt always was hurt, always had a toe here, a knee here, an elbow here. Every time that boy hit the field, you heard this. I just didn't understand it, man. I don't know how this dude just constantly get paid, but that's how it goes. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you for spending time with yours truly. Thank you to all those that made this show what it is by doing, donating, and also, your comments and your questions. Appreciate that so much. Want to let you know before we get up out of here, State of the Saints podcast t-shirts are still available. Still have a few left. If you want to purchase a t-shirt, you can use this at Cash App, $ State of Saints, or you can go to PayPal and search State of Saints, State of the Saints podcast. Still got a couple shirts available for those that may want to purchase a shirt. State of the Saints podcast. Thank you to Manscaped.com, the sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. If you love the State of the Saints podcast, before you get up out of here, give your boy a thumbs up, or Arthur Fonzarelli, or what my wife gave me, one of the coolest gifts ever, give a boy a golden thumbs up. Shouts out to my wife, man, giving me this, man. Give your boy a thumbs up right here. You know what I'm saying? Show your boy some love with a golden thumbs up. Thank you all so much. Really do appreciate your time. Go to Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Once again, previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Thank you all so much. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?